when was the last time that you were able to go back to something that you did? Maybe something that you created, or maybe it was an old experience that you had that you have maybe had not thought of in a long time. Maybe that was a very painful experience. And where are you today? Can you actually measure and do just a quick non-judgmental evaluation and see where are you today? And if you were, do you still feel a little, tinge, or do you actually kind of laugh at certain things like, wow, I can't believe I did that? I mean, I can go back to some of my couple of my relationships and I can look going, man, I cannot believe that I was there in this relationship when I knew that it wasn't healthy to stay in. And I am a completely different person where I wouldn't even consider um, exposing myself to something that was, in my mind, in my own personal journey, not the healthiest. Um, but even just jobs that you've had, kind of going back and to do a review session on yourself. Have you ever done that,
Oh my
Chris?
God, Lisa, I'm just thinking, I remember when I was a penguin mascot, one of my jobs, it was the funniest thing. It was like some really boring convention, and I worked for a basement installation company, and their mascot just happened to be a penguin. And I wore this penguin suit for like 5 days straight, sweating my butt off in there, just dying of overheat and all this kind of stuff. And it was hilarious. I was a talking mascot too. I've abandoned the not talking. I was cracking jokes everywhere, walking up to other stands, messing around with people's exhibits and stuff. And it was hilarious. I just look back at some of the random weird jobs I've had. I'm like, how did I even get into that position? Or relationships, like you said, like how was I with that person? Not even like judging the other person, more like judging me, and like what was I doing there? But that's all part of our life process. And I don't know about you, but when you're writing this book right now, I know I'm experiencing it right now, working on this course, and this course of mine that I'm doing. And I find as I'm doing it, I'm realizing every single moment of my life, all the mistakes, everything, have all happened for a reason, because they're coming together in these teachings and in these presentations and these podcasts that we're doing. It's all coming together, and I'm blown away at some of the most random weird parts of my life that all of a sudden are connecting, and it's none of it's a mistake, weirdly enough, although it can totally at the time be like, what is going on? This is the most random thing ever.
You know what that reminds me of is, remember Connect the Dots,
Yeah,
the coloring piece. And it was one of my favorite things to do as a kid. And I remember the ones that I loved were going to numbers that I couldn't find right away. They were like over on left field. I'm like, where is this Connect the Dots taking me? And it's only until we finish the entire thing. And sometimes when excuse me, we even color it in partly, where we realize what the full picture is. And I think that that is so much about what you're saying. At least that's the visual that I'm getting,
totally.
is that we have this, I think, a beautiful, if we can be patient enough to allow for life to come full circle and not cut it off at the knees because we're done and we don't want. This is the principle of rhythm, actually. Um, the principle of rhythm says that life has this certain circadian rhythm, and oftentimes experiences aren't quite ready for us to end before we start a new one.